This morning, after a year of public silence, special counsel Robert Hur will testify before Congress. Hur, a former U.S. attorney appointed by then-President Trump, has faced fierce backlash following his report about President Biden's handling of classified material, saying he found evidence the president willfully retained documents, but not enough evidence to prove his case to a jury, citing, among other reasons, that President Biden would come across as a sympathetic, well-meaning elderly man with a poor memory. The president quickly doing damage control.
I'm well-meaning, and I'm an elderly man, and I know what the hell I'm doing.
Following his feisty State of the Union, President Biden is still trying to dispel voter concerns about his ability to serve a second term.
I'm not a young guy. That's no secret. But here's the deal. I understand how to get things done for the American people.
Mr. Trump seized on the report last month.
Crooked Joe got off scot-free. Now, I don't know if you call it scot-free. They said he was a mental basket case.
In fact, Hur did not say that. Still, House Republicans today are likely to accuse her of giving President Biden a pass and to press him for additional observations about what Hur called Joe Biden's diminished faculties. House Democrats are likely to zero in on Hur's conclusion that no criminal charges were warranted. And they'll also underscore Hur's distinction between President Biden, who cooperated with the investigation, and Mr. Trump, who prosecutors say repeatedly refused to return classified documents and obstructed the investigation into his conduct. He's now facing 40 criminal charges. Overnight, a key witness in Mr. Trump's indictment speaking out on CNN, describing moving those classified documents at Mar-a-Lago.
They were the boxes that were in the indictment, the white banker's boxes. That's what I remember loading.
And did you have any idea at the time that there was potentially U.S. national security secrets in those boxes?
No clue. No, I had no clue.
A lawyer for Mr. Trump declined to comment to CNN. Also on Monday, Mr. Trump said if he wins in November, one of his first acts as president would be to free what he called the January 6th hostages, who he says were wrongly imprisoned. But to be clear, unlike actual hostages being held overseas, every single January 6th rioter currently being held behind bars is there either because they were found or pleaded guilty or because a federal judge ordered them held pre-trial due to circumstances in their case. Savannah, back to you.
All right, Peter Alexander, thank you. Let's turn to our senior Washington correspondent, Hallie Jackson. Hallie, we just got a copy of the opening statement that the special counsel will deliver. And clearly he wants to take on his critics who said he said too much unnecessarily with too much color about the president's mental state.
Yeah, he's trying to defend himself, and I think that is what you're going to see today based on this opening statement, Savannah. And he lays it out very clearly, saying, I needed to explain why I made the decision not to charge President Biden. So he says, yes, everything he wrote was necessary and accurate and fair, that he was trying to analyze the evidence like a prosecutor, trying to think about the ways that the defense might try to poke holes in the case, if you will. And that is why he included some of the material about the president's age, his mental lapses, his memory, the things that he said over the course of this multi-hour interview. Keep in mind that Robert Hur is not exactly a household name, Savannah. He's done, for example, a White House briefing at the podium years ago during the Trump administration, but this is going to be a very intense spotlight. The DOJ, an official there, confirms this morning that he will be testifying as a private citizen, getting intense scrutiny from both Democrats and Republicans. One former justice official who knows Hur tells me that he expects that during questioning, he will probably stay within the contours of the report itself. He'll kind of color inside the lines and not go too far beyond the scope of the investigation, Savannah, at this really high-profile moment for him and for President Biden.
Well, Republicans clearly see an opportunity here. That's why they've called him to testify. So what is their approach today, and how do Democrats plan to counter it?
So Republicans' approach, hammer on the age issue, hammer on the memory lapses, hammer on whether there were any other instances where the president forgot key details or key moments. And the backdrop to that, of course, is this election year, Savannah, where, as you know, more than half of voters say that they believe that they do have concerns about the president's age and fitness for office. For Democrats, they'll hit on a couple of key things. Number one, the whole point of this report in the first place, which is that there will not be charges brought against President Biden. And number two, expect them to lay out the very clear difference differences, as they see it, between President Biden's classified documents case, in which, again, he is not being charged, and that of former President Trump, a case where the legal issues are still working their way through court, even just this week, last week, recently here, Savannah. From the White House, expect aggressive pushback. One White House aide tells me that they see this as nothing more than a political exercise. They see this as case closed. And a Biden aide on the age issue points us to the State of the Union last week. They feel like President Biden, with that energetic speech, made the case that he is well prepared to take on another 4 years in office, Savannah.
All right. Hallie Jackson in Washington, thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. Don't miss the Today Show every weekday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on our streaming channel, Today All Day. To watch, head to today.com/allday or click the link right here.